Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angel Meadows Radio. I am Mama D, your host. My show is called A Conversation with Friends because I believe everyone is a friend we have yet to meet. This show is where you get to know new friends or get reacquainted with old friends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. I am so... Hey everybody, welcome to another Sunday night. And I'm sorry, but me and my computers are not getting along right now. I started the video before I even put us online, but that was good. Okay, so my guest tonight is Royce Morales. Royce, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. This is awesome. A little bit about me. I have been a transformational facilitator or spiritual teacher for probably a little over 4 decades. And it just sort of came to me. It sort of woke me up one day and said, you need to be teaching this. You need to be doing this with other people. It's kind of a long story, but that's basically it in a nutshell. And I work with people individually as well as in groups, helping people to get unblocked and stop sabotaging themselves by doing some very deep core inner work. Yeah. So that's very, very nutshell about me.
Okay. Hey, Gina. Gina's in our chat room in YouTube. We're behaving, Gina. She's here to keep an eye on us.
Oh, yeah.
Probably just me, but c'est la vie. Okay, so you first, what I liked about in your bio is that somebody came up to you and said, hey, can you teach me what you know? And you were like, yeah, sure, come over to the house, bring a couple of friends. And you had like a dozen people in your house at that time?
Actually, it didn't come out as easily as the way that you just described it. I stood there and in my head, I was going, what? Are you crazy? I don't know anything. What are you talking about? And out of my mouth came, sure, I'd love to.
Yeah,
bring your friends.
I think the same way you did. Because somebody asked me once to teach them about what I know. And I was like, who sent you? Were they playing a joke on you? Like, really? You know, and it just sort of bloomed. But I haven't gotten to teaching people. So what was it like for the first time having all these people in your room listening to you?
I was terrified. I was stuttering. I was stammering. After they left, I cried for about 20 minutes. And I had been taping what I was saying. So I played back the tape and I'd be like, oh my God, where did that come from? And I learned that when I was in a teaching position, words would just come to me and I had to trust them. And I started to kind of step back and allow that energy to flow out of me. But after every class, I would literally listen to what I had said and take notes on it. Go, oh, wow, that was good. Okay, let's write that down. It just kind of unfolded from there.
Yeah. I like the idea that because in a sense, I do the same way. Like when people ask me for readings, I have my way of getting prepared for it, but I'm always nervous. I always sort of like doubt myself. But I know that when people are hearing what I have to say, and at the moment I'm doing it, the nerves have all gone, and I just kind of do what I do, and it's there. And afterwards, they're like thanking me, and I'm going, made sense to you? You know, the human side, the Darlene side is kind of going, yeah, okay, you're sure about this part. But, you know, the Mama D side kind of, yeah, of course. It's just, you know, so I understand about the nerves and shaking. I should start recording stuff. But I don't like people say my voice is nice and soothing and calm and la, la, la. To me, my voice gets on my, hello, Jim Kelly, spirit photographer. We should talk. But I listen to my voice and it sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh.
You know, it's like,
I think everybody feels that way about their voice. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the chat room again, Gina. She left YouTube and now she's on Facebook. Hello. Okay. Okay. Transformational facilitator. Yes. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I've been toying with various titles for decades, and there's never one that really fit. And for probably, I don't know, several years, I've been calling myself a spiritual teacher, but that didn't really fit either.
Yeah.
But people could understand it, so that's what I called myself. And then, I don't know, about a month or two ago, it suddenly dawned on me what I'm really doing is helping people transform. And so I wanted to use that as part of my title. And I don't tell people what to do. I really facilitate them in trusting themselves. So the facilitator part came out. So, and that's how I get all of my, I call my work Perfect Life Awakening. And that literally came to me in a meditation, those words, they just unfolded. So everything like that, is basically given to me on a spiritual or an energetic level. So, yeah.
So for those listening, the perfectlifeawakening.com is also her website. So if you're interested in what we're talking about, you're going to go there, or roycemorales.com. You're going to go there, check it out, and ask questions, and you can send emails, but I'll get to that after. Okay. Sorry. If I don't get it done while I'm thinking about it, that shiny ball comes up and I'll forget about everything.
Yes.
Okay. You have a course, which I was reading about when I was having my few minutes of peace and quiet before the show, trying not to kill people in my life because it's one of those days. Empower Your Life. It's a spiritually based inner clearing. So, okay, I always set out to take a course. I have best intentions. I want to take a course sort of to help myself get over this stuff that goes on in my head, but it never happens. And by the time I'm sitting there, I haven't paid for the course or anything, but I just say, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this and sort of set it up in my mind. But then something comes along and it just sidetracks me. So yes, Royce does rock me. Right, here we go. Gina's biased, of course, but that's
Gina.
Yeah. So what is it? Because I'm not going to ask you to do the whole course online right here, but what is it that starts somebody who wants to get to this point, that like they know everything's going a little bit in their minds, where they are, who they are, what they're doing, everything else sort of mumbles and jumbles. And like you said, you sort of facilitate us to learn to trust ourselves, learn to trust who we are and what we know.
Yes.
So
and
how,
I think,
go ahead.
I was going to say that what I really do is I have this little shovel on my necklace. I don't know if you can see it, but what I really do is I give people a shovel and a mirror. And what I teach people to do is to dig up the roots of whatever it is that's blocking them, whatever it is that's sabotaging them, whatever fears are getting in the way, so that they can really discover who they are underneath all of that. And it's very, very powerful, deep work. It's not your typical, I don't know, whatever to even call it, personal development course that you sit around and you discuss things and you memorize nice little cliches or spiritual words and, say 10 affirmations and your life changes. It's not like that at all. It really gets to the core, to the very bottom, whether it's in this life or past lives or wherever it came from. There are things that are programmed in us that are getting in the way and we're not conscious of them. It's all subconscious.
Yeah.
And I give people enough information so that they can apply it in everyday life. So it's not just something that you do kind of woo-woo on the side.
Yeah.
It's something that you can walk through life and apply minute by minute as well.
See, now that what you said, that you give us the shovel so we can dig down deep, that scares the bejeebers out of me. Yeah. And to the point where I could feel tears building up in my eyes, because I know that there's a lot of stuff that goes on, whether it's from this life or a past life, I can't tell you, but there's sometimes certain things just kind of like, somebody asks, what's your greatest fear? And like, as odd as it sounds, my greatest fear, especially starting out, and I guess to some extent still now, my greatest fear is having somebody stand up or say like, she's a fake, she's a fraud, that type of thing, but not just about, like, more than just that. Like, it's not as super, that's deep, but it's not as superficial as it, like, to go deeper. And that's like something that scares the out of me. So when you said to get that shovel, it's like, okay, I don't want the shovel.
Never mind. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Trust
think,
me, the day I want to dig that deep up, I will be coming to you.
thank you.
Because,
I know where to find you. But
yeah,
yeah, I find since I've been doing this work, most of the work that I've done with others, I've experimented with on myself. So I understand those fears. I really do. You're not alone. In other words, everybody's terrified of looking inside. But I find now it's like I'm more afraid of not discovering those things. It's like, come
yeah,
on, give it to me, because I know what happens from the discovery. I know that there's freedom and there's joy and there's love and there's deservingness and there's power, that comes from doing that work that, why would I want to just sit there and not dig? Oh,
yeah.
so yeah, but I get it. I totally understand.
And I understand, like you say, once you get past these things, you know that there's good things on the other side of that fence that you don't want to cross. You just,
Right.
and and I understand that. Like, I don't know which side of the brain is the logical side, but it's going, this is what you need to do. This is where you need to go. It's all going to be good in the end. And that's one of the things I tell my clients who come to see me is that these are things that we need to do. It's like, how they always say a teacher can teach, but you can't learn or something like that. Or you can't do it, teach. If you can't teach, I don't know what the
Those
saying
who,
is.
those who can do, those who can't
There you
teach.
go.
Yes.
I can't teach it, but I can tell, like I tell my clients what to do, sort of, or I guide them on the path that they should be doing. But if I sit down and listen to my advice for myself, I was like, no, it's like, and Gina, stop with you.
I
There are,
understand that too. I've been there, done that as well. I had a group of students, very advanced group. They had been with me for years and they all wanted to learn how to teach what I teach. And so we used to meet every week. And at one point, this group said to me, Royce, you're a really good teacher, but I don't think you're applying your work. And they just, let me have it. And from that point on, I said, no, I have to do this. I have to do this with me. I can't. To be a hypocrite and not doing it with myself just doesn't work. So
yeah,
yeah, I hear you.
yeah. It's like when I'm a Reiki master, and when I took the master's course, my master's said, "Do you want to be master teacher?" And I went, "No, I don't want to teach, because I know." It's not that I don't want to share with people, because I share like free willy-nilly, I'm like that. But I don't want that title. I know I do it, but I don't need the title to do it. For me, that sort of fits me into a box. And I really hate being in boxes. It's like people say, "What are you?" And for me, I'm a healer. And it covers so many things. Whether you're healing people, mind, body, or soul, it's still a healer.
Yes.
There's every person, no matter what they do, is some form or another a healer. People who, those people who stand, you see the Facebook videos where they stand there with free hugs, that person's a healer.
Right.
Gina, when she does her paranormal investigating and she helps people, figure things out in their houses, that's a healer, because they're healing the mind, puts people at ease and relaxes them. And it also helps the spirit on the other side. So for me, boxes, no. So being a teacher is like not my thing, but I call myself a shareaholic. I will share like nobody. That's why I started this show, because I like people to get the stuff that you do, the stuff that you teach needs to get out there for somebody. There's going to be one person aside from me that is going to get, like, I always figure I'm going to be focusing everything I do on one person. Don't know who the one person is, but there's going to be more, but I focus it on thinking just one person. So like technically, if we have 12 people in the chat room, one person is going to be like, there's something we're going to say that's going to flip that switch, and they're going to. So for me, that's my non-teaching. It's a shareaholic.
Right.
I like that. Shareaholic and chocoholic. That's right.
Maybe even at the same time, right?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I don't share chocolate. That's Gina. I don't share chocolate. No,
I was thinking more like eating it while you're sharing.
oh yeah, I do that. Gina will tell you that I do that quite often on our chat. She's like, ah. But so what? Okay, say somebody wants to come to you. Okay, we'll use me as the example. I'm going to come to you tomorrow, and I'm going to say, okay, let's sit down and talk and see where I can go. Where do we start? do you sort of like have people answer questions, or how? Because anybody can come to you and say, I want to do this, but they're not mentally, yeah, I eat in front of you all the time. Yes, I know. But it's verbally, they're just saying it, but they're not ready for it. Is there a way to figure?
Well, people figure out pretty fast if they're not ready for it. And, I've had a lot of students start my course and then just never complete it because it's too much.
Mhm.
So, and I do start very slowly with people. I don't jump right in and go, okay, let's, here's the
Pick up
huge
that one.
goal.
Let's pick up those bones there.
Right. Yeah. But I find that I was going to say that everybody on some level is ready, and I think they are, but I think you have to mature enough to know that you're ready. And that does take some time, or it might take some circumstances to really kick you in the butt enough to say, okay, this is enough. I'm done. I need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it comes down to that. And I kind of believe that everybody is evolving at their own pace too.
Yeah.
So there's people that are just not quite evolved enough to do that. Maybe they're here for another reason. Maybe in 5 lifetimes they'll be more evolved and ready. So all of it comes down to readiness. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand that. Because like for me, what I do now, I know I did it when I was a child. I know I did things that people kind of, you do what? And I shut it down because in my family it wasn't spoken of. I was born and raised a Catholic. I was an altar girl, a really bad one, but I was an altar girl. I went to catechism class. I did all those things. And I had too many questions that they couldn't answer. And I was like, I think I was 9 years old, and I kind of went, how did the Virgin Mary have a baby if she was a virgin? And coming out of 9 years old mouth, it's like my priest was going, these are things they would ask you, or they would have to literally touch me to bring me out of my other world, because I was always connecting with angels. And I was eventually told, okay, it's time to grow up. You got to put that stuff away. It's just imagination. It's make believe. Hey, Debbie. Just, put it away. And I did for a while. And then in my 20s, early 20s, somebody gave me a tarot deck. Now, to this day, I can't tell you who gave it to me or what happened to it.
Okay.
And I shut it down. I don't know why. But it wasn't until 2012, when the world was coming to an end, that, and I said, this coming to an end is the way we know it. Things are just going to change. Little did we know. COVID. And my daughter had a conversation with me about how she connected to spirit. But she didn't understand it. And at the end of the conversation, because in this house, when I come to you and I go, Mom, I want to have a conversation, and I want you to say nothing until I'm done. I know that's a really deep moment for her. Mm-hmm. So we had about a 30-minute chat, one-sided. And then at the end of it, she kind of said, now you can lock me up in a rubber room. And I stopped for a minute, and it just sort of like came out of my mouth without even thinking. I said, if I do that, I'm going to be in the room next to you. And that was my, as I call, my coming out of my spiritual closet. It just started all over again. And it's in a sense, I'm still new at this kind of, but it's there. Like sometimes you sit there and you wonder, is what I'm saying make sense? And where the heck, like you said, when you're teaching, you don't realize the words you're saying until you have to go back and listen to yourself. And you're taking notes with, hey, that was a good one. So it's like, for me, sometimes it's like, where does this stuff come from? Yeah. And there's many people who, medium, psychics, and whatever box you want to put yourself into, who connect with spirit, and they can either hear the words, or they get, whatever. Mine, I call them flashcards. Things will sort of pop into my head. Okay, stop brushing. Thank you. Gina says I'm awesome. I'm an awesome pain when I'm eating chocolates in front of her on the screen. But they're just flashcards, and I'll have to figure out what they are, or it'll be a word, and then I'll just the rest of the sentence will come out as I say the word.
Yes. Yeah, that happens to me too. And exactly what you said, there was a time in my life that I was asking so many questions that, my poor mother would just be pulling her hair out, couldn't answer them.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating to me, and it was like that I literally shut down and decided, I very clearly made a decision, I'm going to be normal, and I started as a teenager, just showing the world how normal I was. And,
My
dated
normal
normal
was in
guys,
trouble.
dated normal guys, did normal things, got married, bought a washer dryer, had a child. And then one day I just went, wait, who is this? This isn't me. And I had to stop. I had to literally, get divorced and move away and do all kinds of things because I couldn't not be myself anymore. It just wouldn't happen. And that's shortly after when that person approached me and said, oh, you seem to know a lot of things. So yeah, I think it's very common that, it's more important for a certain span of our life to just kind of fit in and only be concerned with, having your friends and being popular and wearing the right dress, So yeah.
I was a tomboy and never wore dresses, but yeah, I get it. I used to think boys were good to beat up on. I learned quickly that they were, but yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely when I'm ready to dig those holes, you and I are going to talk.
Yay,
One of the things I also noticed on your website is like, if people are going to do it online, you give them the first chapter for free so they can check it out.
Yeah, the first chapter, the first basic informational stuff that I give is free. And then I have a 6-module e-course that you can do. I also do it live, do it, via Zoom nowadays, but
yeah.
Having a small group is the way that I really like to do it because you can ask questions and you can, I can feel what's going on with people and, address fears when they come up. So I really like doing it that way. And then I do private work with people as well. Excuse me. I do private inner journey sessions with people to go really deep and to discover those roots.
So if you're in a small group, could you also say, if you see someone needs a little extra help, do you sort of say, okay, well, let's have a little conversation on the side, that type of way?
That kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of questions that people always have when I'm talking, it's like, just, hey, I want to understand this, or I want to share this about myself. And the group interaction, I think, is so valuable. That's why I did it for, decades in person with small groups. But
and I think that's good also, small groups, because I could have a question in my mind but not know how to word it, and the next person could, and I'd be, that's exactly what I want to know. That's exactly the way I feel, type of thing. Gina in the chat room says, how important is recognition?
Recognition of what? Add a little bit more to that question, Gina.
Make it a longer question.
Yeah.
Give us some detail about it.
While we're waiting for her to ask the rest of the question, I just wanted to add one more thing about groups, and that is, in the years that I've been doing this, it's never an accident in terms of what group you end up getting thrown into. I've had groups where, excuse me, everybody's had an alcoholic father, or everybody was abused, or everybody, has a particular money issue or whatever. And it's always interesting to see what happens and what unfolds with the groups. And that, of course, is part of the process. It's part of, one person will share something and it's like, oh yeah, well, that triggered something in me. And it, it just goes from there. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. You said what we were talking about before, still doing things for yourself. Oops.
Doing things for yourself.
I think she means when I choose to, when I'm going to come to you, about it, I have to she means recognizing myself, that I know that I have to do this. How important I'm guessing. Gina, come into the chat room. No, come to the chat room, come on the show. Speak. This is why we do, this is why I do live shows, because in type, I can never get it. It's like Gina and I together, we get everything. We understand everything. That's right, Mom, don't laugh. But if I have to do it in type, it's like, sometimes I'm going, does that sound, you type it, you send it, it's like, ooh, that doesn't sound right. It's like, you got to change. So that's one of the reasons why I do a radio show, or an audio video show.
Gina, do you have to recognize that something is going on and you need need this kind of work, that kind of, can you just be curious, spiritually curious and want to do it? Is that kind of what she means, maybe?
She could come into the show because she does have access.
Gina, we need you.
She says yes, that's exactly what she means.
Oh, okay. Yeah, God, I'm losing my voice. I have had people that have no clue that anything is going on with them. They think they're happy and wow, isn't life great? And then shortly after starting to look inside, they realize, oh, I've been just pretending to be happy, or I've just been acting like everything's fine. And they realize that, there's more going on. So yeah, I don't think recognition is a key to doing inner work. I really don't. I mean, I know I sure didn't need it. I was one of those people that I thought, oh wow, life's fine. I'm fine. I've got my washer and dryer and my child and my husband. Everything's fine. But when I started to, really start looking inside, I realized, God, I'm miserable. What's going on here? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that must have been a pretty hard decision to make.
it was huge, very huge. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that kind of sort of another road to travel some other time. There she is.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Gina.
She's like, I ran upstairs to the upstairs. You better be happy with me, woman. Yes, I am. Okay, let me put her on the right side of the camera because she'll shoot me.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear. Gina,
Oh,
no,
no, I
can't
can't.
hear you.
No, I can't.
No.
No.
Very far away. Did you plug in? Did you turn on your volume? I'm gonna mess with her because she's got a nice new computer. Somebody in her life loves her really.
Aw.
Yeah, okay, try it again. Let me boot you from the room. Here we go. She'll leave and she'll come back. I could hear her in a far off distance, but only on one side. So I was like,
yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think I understand that how you're saying that people got to realize it, but sometimes people are living that life now and know that if they make that big leap, that change like you did, that will sort of throw everybody else's life in turmoil, so they won't make those changes.
Yeah.
I'm not talking from personal experience at this point, okay?
I've seen that a lot with people, or they get something so clearly. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to, get a new job, or I'm supposed to buy a new car, whatever it is. I'm giving silly examples, but it can be very deep things that they're supposed to shift, and they just refuse to do it. There's some kind of deeply embedded fear that just won't let them. And yeah, and I find, again, based on my own experience, if you don't listen to that, eventually nothing is going to work. So,
yeah,
all right.
Be willing to try to. Okay, speak, child.
I don't know.
There you are. There you are.
Thank you. I had to turn off my this mic. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working, but yeah, it is what it is. So it's so good to see you, Royce.
Good to see you too. Yeah.
I'm very busy.
Yes.
Have you been doing a lot of Zoom classes?
For those people who don't know, Gina and I have a show on Thursday nights. This week is Tuesday night. That we co-host, and Royce was there as well with us. So
yes, she was awesome.
She wasn't it?
Yes. She does so much. I don't know what I missed trying to get on here, but yeah, you can even talk about the artwork behind you.
Oh, my artwork, yes.
Yeah, true, that's your artwork.
No. So what's happening? What's happening with you? What are you doing lately? We got any new updates on good things to come?
Actually, well, I've written 3 books and I'm working on the 4th book.
Good.
But what I'm really excited about is I'm writing a children's book, actually a whole series of children's books. And it's giving me so much joy. I can't even tell you. It's because when I teach, you might notice I try to teach in very simple terms. I don't like to get all heady and, complicated. I just
Right.
have boiled things down to very simple, basic things. And I'm finding that as I'm writing this children's book, it's just the same way that I teach, only I'm doing it for kids. And it's so much fun.
That's so good.
You got to do what you love, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, that's kind of like what I was saying before. It's like, how important is it to recognize in yourself the things that you need to do and then actually doing stuff? Because it's kind of like that in the 12-step program when you got to first admit you have a problem, right? You got to admit that you have a problem with yourself before you can even attempt to fix anything.
Yeah.
And then you got to know where to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do find, I think I was saying a little bit of this a couple of minutes ago when you weren't on, but I find that a lot of people arrive just curious. They've heard the classes are great, or, wow, wouldn't it be fun to do this inner work? Or, wow, maybe I'll find my past life. There's that curiosity that can, attract people to it as well. But then once they start doing the digging, they realize, oh, there's some stuff down there to look at. So, yeah.
Yeah, Mama doesn't want to do that. See, I don't know why she's afraid of digging. I'm not, because her soul is absolutely gorgeous through and through. If she digs, she's just going to get better.
Yeah, but see, I'm afraid of that ugly cry thing. Like I said, when she was talking about it, it just started to build up in the back here, and the tears were coming. It's like, okay, no, don't do that.
I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, I've seen a lot of past lives, and they were always, really interesting, and they always had interesting substance to them, and they always helped me to resolve stuff in my current life. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was meditating, and I got into the lifetime where I did some really horrendous things, and I literally had to open my eyes and go, "Oh shit, am I allowed to say that?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I said, "Oh shit."
Shit's nothing.
And it took me about maybe 2 years to sit back down and ask about that lifetime, because it was so terrifying to think that I had the ability at some point in some existence to do that. So, but once I did, it was freedom that I got. It was a release and a resolve, and a shift and a full transformation of my entire life by seeing that. So, yeah, but it was terrifying. I get it.
Yeah, it truly is. Anytime you look at yourself, and what about like when you see yourself in your children? You know what I mean? And it's like you want to say, hey, can I already say that I did these mistakes for you, and can we already learn from mine?
No.
Save you the stuff.
No.
No, they have to live it regardless.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't remember if it was on the show that I did with you, but I talk a lot about mirrors. Did I talk about that on your show?
Yes.
Yes.
I love the mirror talk.
Yeah. So yeah, kids are the best mirrors that we've got. And then the current situation that we're in with all the stuff going on around us politically and, environmentally and health-wise, it's all just mirrors of stuff that we need to go through, and we need to understand about ourselves. Otherwise we wouldn't have chosen this existence if we didn't need to know some really deep lessons about big things. So yeah.
Right now, I look into mirrors at times, and I see my mother, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like I said before, we were talking before the show. The only difference between my mother and I, sometimes when I look in the mirror, is that she had dark hair and I have red hair. But it's like, yeah, no. It's kind of scary.
Yes, we all turn into our mothers at one point.
Yeah,
we realize how wise they are.
Yes, very wise lady.
Right. Yeah.
She still message me on Facebook and go, "What did you say about me?" No, I'm kidding. My mother will play with the lights.
Your sound is breaking up a little bit.
Mine?
No, you're fine, but now
Oh.
You know how my phone is
breaking up.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, maybe because I came on, I don't know what happens. It's
all your fault.
Her sound was perfect. It's all my fault. I blame
It's your fault.
me.
Yeah.
I do apologize. So tell us about the children's books now. When is that due to come out, or how close are you to completion?
Well, right now I am talking to my publicist about making changes on it because she's suggesting a lot of things that I do to it. And the way that publishers seem to want children's book is they want them presented as a series. So I'm going to do that. And it's kind of for a little bit older children, like 9 to 12. So I tried to do for little tiny kids, and I just couldn't get the concepts down simple enough. So I decided to just go for a little bit of an older age. And
I think that's a good
first,
age group to target.
yeah. The first group that the first topic I'm writing about is death.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
and it comes completely from my own personal experience because I asked my mom. I was telling Darlene earlier that I would ask my mom all these questions that she couldn't answer, and one of them was, "Mommy, what happens when we die?" You know, and she just she couldn't answer. And she gave me this ridiculous answer that I looked at her and I knew she was wrong, but there I was like 6 years old or something, and I couldn't argue with her. So it was based on that experience, and I've expanded it, and it's just so much fun to do. And I get to be the wise child in the book.
Oh, that is awesome, because that's needed. That is so needed, and that's what I'm glad about going forward in the generation that we're in now. Is what's available to the children now. At a young age, to know about life, death, the mysteries of it, the metaphysical side of it, the things that can happen, noticing and acknowledging people's different gifts of how they can communicate with that side, the proof that is out there. And now we can do this. Have it more out there. And you can have a book that you can, you see your child going through these things, or talking to someone in the corner, and it's like, well, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, who's there? Because they can see them and you can't. But it's not shunned like when we were kids.
Right. Yeah. And the character in the book not only hears spirits, but she also starts remembering past lives, and so there's a whole discussion in her family about that, and it's so much fun.
I want a copy of the book.
No, and that is, I know, right? It's not just for kids. It's, you know what I mean? The adults, it's a good thing for the adults to share with the kids too, because the adults still don't understand it until the children are going through it. Someone that they know. Even though it is that much more out there today, but it's still,
There are still certain subjects that people still don't want to talk about, like death and what happens after death.
Right.
So this is like a major book. Yeah.
Yeah, and the character experiences that her friends don't understand, and she talks about it in school, and everybody thinks she's crazy, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really and then I think the next book is going to be all about mirroring.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's like one of life's biggest lessons too. No one likes to look in a mirror.
Nope.
It's easier to do this than go look in a mirror. So people really need to do that, myself included. I'm not keeping me out of that mix. I'm not perfect. I'm damn close. But
thank you.
You're close. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a smidge off.
I need a little tweaking. Oh God! But that would be wonderful. Are you doing your own illustrating?
No, I'm not. I am an artist, but I just feel like it needs something different than what I could bring. So yeah, I'm talking to illustrators and finding the right one. Definitely.
Oh, that's neat. That is neat. Yeah.
It's the second person we've spoken to who's doing children's book and looking for an illustrator. So.
Oh, well, if you hear of any, let me know. Yeah.
Well, depends on the thing. Like, is it people? Are you doing, so it would be like you want to draw the kids as they are in the situations that they're in, or is it, other things? Depends on what it is, that you're looking for. How many?
Yeah, because she's a pretty good artist.
Yeah. So you do illustrations, yeah?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's nothing I can't do.
Oh, well, we'll have to talk. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Mama,
Yes.
do you have anything that since I came
Yes.
in and
Got me out of my bubble here.
a minute, I haven't shut up since I've been in. And you
It's
can
okay. I invited you in. I knew what I was getting when I invited you.
look at me. I'm a mess. Oh my
See,
God.
that's the first thing I was thinking. She's probably going, I'm not coming on. I look like a mess. But she did it anyway.
Well, that's
Thank you very much. Mm.
that's
So
you, I love you.
you have no choice. So since the children's books are going to be a series, you know what the first one is and kind of what the second one is. Do you have any idea how many books are going to be in the series?
I'm not sure. I don't know how many the publisher would request. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But I've got endless material. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you could work, like you say, you when you talk about the subject, you don't talk up here where people are kind of going, what did she say? Like me, where I have to Google a word when somebody puts it in Facebook and they'll be like, what the heck is that word? And I sit there and I take it and I Google it. It's like, oh,
Right.
okay, it's simple, like,
Yeah.
so which is good because I like when people, and this is what I like about you, is like you say, you talk at my level. You're not talking down to people and you're not talking up to people or, you know what I mean, over their heads. You talk so everybody understands you. It's just plain and simple.
Plain and simple. And that's really all it is anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually
You,
people talk plain and simple when they know what they're talking about. It's when it's when they have to embellish is when they really
That's very true. That's true.
or it's a regimented, speech. Like
Yeah.
and
And
you
it's
know how
funny.
good I am with speeches. So,
It's funny because when I started working with a publicist, she told me that I needed to do a series of blogs every week. And so I had to write 10 of them to send over to her so she could kind of see, what I was trying to say or whatever. And the very first comment she said was, "You're using words that people won't understand." And I was using very simple words. I was shocked when she said that, but she pointed out a few that are just so common knowledge to me. And I thought to the rest of the world, but nope, get rid of those, Nope, you can't use that one and that one and that one. Okay, all right. But she's right. She's right.
it
that's
is.
cool.
There's nothing. You know me. I have to read a lot of books. I read a lot of books for this show, and it's when I have to sit and look up every other word, I might make it halfway through that book before I just get totally frustrated and say, "The hell with this," you know. But it's when you talk to someone, like, not preach, but talk, directly communicate. You get that. I know you want to help me. You know, feeling coming across. Then
Yeah.
people are going to finish reading.
It's
Yeah.
true.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. For those people in the chat, here is the books that she has out now. Want, Know, and Back? Sorry.
Back.
I meant
Yes. They
Yeah.
have subtitles. The want says, true love, past lives, and other complications. No is a spiritual wake-up call. That's the subtitle. And back is rebirth after stroke, which talks about what I went through with my husband and he had a massive stroke 6 years ago. And they all, the first one is kind of a fictionalized story about a spiritual teacher who meets her soulmate. And it's all based on what I experienced when I did meet my soulmate. And it talks about all kinds of things in there, a lot of past life information, a lot of understanding the work that I do, that sort of thing. And the second one is a very specific nonfiction book that does talk specifically about my teachings. And it kind of goes step by step through several weeks of my classes. And there's a lot of, true life examples and stories and all kinds of things, and makes it very applicable. And then the back one is, like I said, talking about my husband, but really talking about my own spiritual journey when that happened and what I learned and what I went through and the fears that came up and why did this happen and all of that stuff, but from a spiritual teacher viewpoint.
Yeah. Where were you in your spiritual journey when that happened?
Well, it was 6 years ago. So I had been teaching for over 30 years, but I never expected that. It was a total out of the blue shock
Mhm.
because he's very healthy and very active and, you know, just an amazing athlete and all kinds of stuff. And it was just a total shock. But I very quickly started applying all the tools that I give people in terms of dealing with the situation and understanding it and getting through it. And having hope too. I'm right now working on a blog that's talking about hope, and I'm using him as my example of, you know, these doctors would say these things to me, and I'd be like, oh shit, you know, he's not going to survive, or he's never going to talk again,
Mhm.
or all those things that they say to you. And I would hear it and I would process it and I would see what was coming up, you know, from whatever it is they said, but then I would choose to not buy into it.
Yeah.
And he's a miracle. He really is. You know, he's not only he's survived it, but he's thriving and he's talking again and he's walking again and all these things that the doctor said wouldn't happen. You know,
Yeah.
I chose to not buy into it, and that made the difference. So
Right.
yeah, I talked a lot
100%.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. You know, so a
Yeah.
lot of people think that all these things are you know, they are. This is it. It's cut and dry. It's black and white. It's not. It's all gray.
Yeah.
yeah,
If you kind of take what you're saying with COVID that's going on right now,
yeah,
as bad as it is, as horrendous as all the numbers are that of the people who are getting sick, being hospitalized and passing, there are people out there, and I'm talking from experience because I had COVID. And I didn't put it out there for everybody to know because I knew in my head that I would be fine. I knew in my head that everybody who was connected with me would be fine. That it was just, it was like if COVID's up here, I was down here. You know, yes, was I sick? I haven't been sick like with a regular cold in like, as I say, a bajillion years because I take care of myself. The only thing I got cold was sick for once was because my company where I worked had the air conditioning on high, and I cannot stand air conditioning. I'd rather sit in a hot room and just be still. If it worse, Gina's like, give me my air conditioner.
Oh, I'm like, I'll sit on an iceberg.
There you go. But I didn't. I knew. I said I'm not gonna be one of those people who has to go to the hospital and get all that stuff done. So for me, it was just like a sinus thing, and I didn't even lose my taste buds. Trust me, I can still taste chocolate.
oh, good.
Like, that would have been the worst thing if I hadn't been able to.
Yeah.
But again, it's like you said, people have to kind of like you know what's happening, you know that all this stuff is going on. All you're hearing about is the negative, but you have to know inside of you that this is not going to be me.
Right. Exactly.
So with me, I'm normal-ish. But I wasn't normal before, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm good.
Yeah. But I find that, you know, a lot of spiritual disciplines kind of have you deny stuff and, well, you know, that's not going to happen. But the difference that I do is that I allow it to go in to see what I believe about it. And then I process
Yeah.
those beliefs and get rid of them. So I don't have to be going, no, no, no. You know, I can say, okay, what's coming up on my end when that doctor said Michael's never going to speak again? You know, and I process through that so I can release it. And I think
Yeah.
that's a really important step in terms of the work that I do. You know, it's not about denial. It's about what's being mirrored to me. What do I need to see from this?
Yeah, exactly. Like there was the possibility that he would never speak again. And okay, my brain is going to go. It's like when I lost my voice, my customers would go, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm going, "Yes, I'm fine." And then they go, "Oh, your husband must be happy you can't talk." I was like, "Really? Seriously?" And I'm squeaking this out, right? You know, there is that possibility. Then you find the moment where, for me, I always have to find the funny in it. You know, I'll find the funny in it. Ooh, the house is going to be more quiet. And then I realize, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to happen. I know there's that possibility, but I'm going to make sure that I do everything I can to make sure that, you know, he comes back to what he was before and maybe even better. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
people use things like what she just said about, you know, you find the funny in it and whatnot. Well, people use those things to avoid actually
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the work of looking at things, you know, and it kind of like passes the time frame, So
Mhm.
I'll fill this time with this, and then I'll try to find something else to fill this time. And it's not like that's not what you should be doing. What you should be doing is erasing all that, like Royce says, and allowing this stuff to infiltrate you, and
Mhm.
then really deal with the situation. And then when you do that, you'll be like, oh my God, and the answer will come to you,
Oh yeah.
what it is that you need to do. It absolutely will, if you allow it to come in.
Yeah, because I find that if you don't, you're just going to attract or manifest something even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nothing.
that's the inspiration to get me to do the work sometimes. Well, if I don't do it now, I'm going to have something much bigger show up. So let's do it now. Yeah.
Right?
So true.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the thing, is that people do it in different ways. Like I said, for me, I have to find the funny in it, but that for me stops me from having a total freak out. Like if somebody I know is sick, like if my daughter becomes sick, I will hopefully find something to make me smile about it. But I know that what I have to do, the steps I have to go through to make sure that it doesn't get worse. I deal with what I have to deal with now. And usually the funny is to make somebody else laugh, not just myself, you know. Okay, my grandmother just popped into my head. At my grandmother's funeral when I was 13, I think, my cousin, my grandmother lived with my cousins. And she was really close to her, and I was close, but I didn't live with her. So she kept going, I can't look at her. I can't see her body in the coffin. I don't want to see that I'll have a fit. Or just tell me when somebody's standing, because she wanted to see who was in the room, in the viewing room. And she stood on one side of the wall, and I stood on the other side of the wall, and I could see who was there. And I said, okay, so and so is standing in front of Nanny. You won't see her if you look in now. She says to me, are you serious? I went, I'm dead serious. And then the both of us just busted out laughing. And she started to cry, and she started to laugh. And then she felt so much better after that. She goes, why did you say that? And she says, now I can't stop laughing. I said, so? I said, but I said, now you can look in without being afraid.
Right.
No. But that
Right.
was
Well,
great.
that's good. Then that's good.
yeah.
That's being a tool.
It helps. It helps sometimes. No, I am so. Don't touch my chocolates. You'll be okay.
I won't never touch your chocolates. No. But I did just get nice links. Nice.
Hey, see, I'm not the only one who's Beanie. All right. Okay. So for everybody who's out there, I'm gonna put it up again. Royce's website is perfectlifeawakening.com, and her name, roycemorales.com. Those are the links to her website. Go to the same place. Go check her out. Go see what she has. You can see her books. You can buy her books on Amazon.com and .ca. I made sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Canada, so I want to make sure. And if you're interested in what she has to say, if you want to connect with her, you have her email address here is lvsreal, REA, capital L, at AOL.com, or her phone number, and that's on her website. I'm not telling the whole world to call you.
Okay.
And you be like, Mommy, I'm okay. You.
Oh boy. And she has wonderful classes. So
Yes.
yeah, and they're regimented. They're the first like a consult type thing, free, and then she carries on from there, and they're great classes, and then an awesome self improvement
You.
program you have for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Because you know that when I'm ready, I'll be knocking on your door. Royce.
Shovel in hand.
Shovel in hand, exactly.
Keep on kicking her in the butt, Gina.
Why do you think I said yes to being her co-host? I needed someone to do it. Can't do it myself. I make her do it.
You can do it together.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be. Oh, that'd be scary.
That would be fun.
It would be a ball. It would be a ball. I'd make you dig even deeper.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh God, these people that make me want to dig.
It's only because we love you, Mama.
Uh-huh. Sure. You love to torture me. Okay. Why did I invite you on the show again? Yeah, no, not a little bit. She'd be like, no. I may eat in front of her, and I don't do it without, thinking I'm eating chocolate in front of her. She's gonna go get food. Watch. She will send me pictures of what she's got. Now she's gonna watch. She's gonna show me all the day. Gone. See, look, see.
Oh my gosh.
Those are supposed to be in the green room, not in your desk.
It's my private stash.
Like she got all this stuff for Halloween. And she had to go out and get it twice because she snatched all the good stuff.
Well, that was before Bob could get it all, so I had to.
Oh yeah, let's blame it on Bob. All because of.
Yep.
Well, we're gonna come to an end here. So thank you everybody who was in the chat room. Which the biggest mouth in the chat room is now sitting right there next to me. Lisa Marie, and we had a few other people. Jim Kelly, the spirit photographer. That's an interesting one. There is no show next week. I am taking the week off. It's between the holiday season, so I'm going to have to recuperate from eating so much food.
But we have a ginormous show.
Exactly. Look. See, I even printed it out so I would have it all right. On Tuesday, the Fox Den has a surprise show. It's called. Our guest is Michaela Raines. She is creator of the Save a Fox Corporation. She's an amazing woman. If you do not know who Finnegan Fox is, just type it into Facebook, type it into YouTube. She's an amazing woman who has taken foxes and she rehabs them because they can't be let back into the wilderness. She takes care of them and she gets along well. She's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she rescues them.
Yeah.
She got her first one from a rehabber. And then after that, the fur farms got in touch with her and said, hey, can you take these foxes because they are rejected from the fur farms or they're rejected from the mother that gave birth to them. Mm-hmm. So they couldn't be taken care of. So when she got them, they had to be bottle fed and everything else. So then that's what sparked her to have a rescue to begin with, which was the beginning of Save a Fox. And also people that take foxes as pets and they don't realize what goes into having a fox as a pet. It's a wild animal, but when they're born in captivity, they can no longer be in the wild.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the breed of the fox because they're bred for their fur. So a captive bred fox is different physiologically than a regular outside wilderness fox, Yeah. So those are the ones that she pretty much takes in, and the people that abandon them. And so she has a big place that she's affiliated with a bunch of other people now and adoption agencies and everything else. But she always puts out the cutest videos of Finnegan.
Oh, yeah.
Fox. Everyone knows Finnegan Fox and Finnegan Fox Pride. And, and what does the fox say? And Finnegan is just the most lovable, adorable, and not that I'm partial at all to foxes. He's just, I love him. Love him.
The fox
voice. Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up there.
So show up on Tuesday. It'll be on Gina's page or on my page or on our YouTube page. The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. Find us and you'll enjoy the show. I promise. It'll be an awesome show.
7 to 9. 7 to 9.
It's true. 7 to 9, not normal.
Yep.
Normal. So Tuesday, 7 to 9. Come and find us. You'll enjoy the show. Royce, thank you very much for being here with me. And when those children's books come out, we're going to talk again.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk about illustrations too. And have a great holiday.
Yes, you guys too.
Happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy whatever the heck it is. Enjoy the season.
Thank you.
Just not too much snow.
And look up Royce.
Yeah. Find her.
Well worth it. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.